faces, my body, head, and soul. Many miles away, I could start a perfect story. Find myself and find out glory. This deceptive world, giving me the sign, giving me the sign. Giving me the sign, giving me the sign.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you guys so much for making the switch to Saturday. And welcome to the Sci-Fi Queens, where we explore the female characters in science fiction's television shows, movies, books, art, gaming. If sci-fi females are there, we are there. And we ask that if you are new to our channel, we welcome you. We ask that you hit that subscribe and notification bell so you know when our show is on. And guess who's back? Navia, queen
Hi,
of
everyone.
chaos. She abandoned us.
Yes, I went to Jupiter.
Yes. Tell us about Jupiter.
There were these weird women and a weird monster. I was kind of scared.
But we are glad. We are also joined by our lovely sci-fi queen visitor, Courtney. As you know, she was with us with the sci-fi and gaming. She educated us very well, by the way. But tonight we're going to talk about the 1950s sci-fi movie classic, The Fire Maidens from Outer Space. Can I just say one thing?
No.
Yes, we are blaming Navia again for this one.
Oh.
Why do we let Navia make picks? Guys,
why did you pick the movie?
Send us some sci-fi movie recommendations that female characters are involved, because Navia is no longer allowed to make the pick.
Can I defend myself? Do I have time to defend myself?
Yes,
Okay.
defend yourself.
In
You
my
need
defense,
You need to.
So in my defense, I thought Halloween's coming around. We need to watch like an old monster movie because those are fun. And I saw the reviews for 1 star, and I was like, this is perfect. It's gonna be a terrible movie, and it's gonna be fun to watch. Yeah, this movie was definitely terrible, but was it fun to watch? Not at all. There were so many issues. Jeez Louise, but you're right. I should not be allowed to pick stuff anymore. I'm definitely Team Nita on that.
Yes. We are going to preface that it is a 1950s classic.
Still no excuse.
So there was a lot of cultural things that were implemented in this movie that we do have to understand that it's coming from a time when things were a lot more different than just a lot different from what we are accustomed to. But we're going to let our guest start us off. First of all, you need to start by telling us how long it took you to watch the movie, because that is a running joke here when we review movies.
Oh, no, I got a half an hour into it the first night, and then was just like, I gotta go read a book or something. I gotta add brain cells back from the ones I just lost. So, and then I realized, I started it up the next night, realized, oh, there's only another 45 minutes left, because they didn't do 3-hour, Peter Jackson marathons back in the day.
No, they did not.
We gotta fit this in an hour and 20.
And so what was your first impression? So first 30 minutes, what was your thoughts? Just the first 30, because that's the first day, right? You saw the first day, you did 30 minutes. What happened to your brain cells that they died? And tell me how to restore them, because I'm still trying to restore mine.
Oh my gosh. So the funniest thing to me was first off, they're starting at Los Alamos, which I'm like, okay, nuke testing site.
Yes.
Sounds legit. And then suddenly they're just in the rocket. There's no helmets, there's no spacesuits, there's no gadgetry.
They didn't even have chairs.
No, they had chairs.
No.
They didn't have
they
enough
had
chairs.
but they didn't. Well, in the end, they didn't.
They
have
weren't
enough chairs.
buckled in.
No,
No, there was no harness. There was no
No.
like breathing apparatus. It was just like dudes pushing buttons, and I
Yeah.
was like, okay, here we go. And I thought it was interesting. I ended up looking it up on IMDb because I always like looking at the trivia. But they were like, this has got to be the cheapest sci-fi movie ever
yeah.
made.
ever,
Like
ever made.
all
yes.
the rocket footage was just canned. I think it was a V2 rocket that they like just literally like cut and paste and like
Yes.
did the smoke effect on the bottom, but then it was just like rocket goes up,
No.
rockets going across the screen,
And it
rockets
comes back
landing
down,
again, which
straight down.
I'm pretty sure. Well, SpaceX can do that now, but I think it was literally just the takeoff scene in reverse. Like I think they were just like,
Yeah.
we can just play the film backwards.
I love the
and no one will
giant
know.
ladder. I love the giant ladder they
Huge.
had.
Oh
to
yeah.
climb to
Yes.
get into the rocket.
Yes.
Can we also talk about how it's in the shape of a rocket, but the inside is like flat, you know?
It's very
Like,
spacious
It's like
in
the
there.
Yes.
it's like the Doctor Who TARDIS,
Yes.
bigger on the inside.
It's the Mary Poppins bag of rockets.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now Navia,
Uh-huh.
how many tries did it take you?
Oh no, so time was running out. I watched this on Thursday. I was like, I gotta be prepared. Oh no. I actually saw it on some Friday. I was Friday during my lunch. I was like, I need to watch this, so I had to do it in one go.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What was your first impression of that first half of the movie, that first 30 minutes? I want to break this down into 30-minute episode.
Okay, I think that's a great idea. That secretary walking down the steps, that was like a 5-minute shot for no good reason. What was the point? What notes did she take?
No,
No, she was the note. She was.
Yes,
That was it.
yes,
That was it. That was like.
Yes.
I mean, they say that you always have to have a point to a shot, and like literally, it was just foreshadowing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we
I-
go to space and all the space creatures look like this, I'll be okay. And it's like
I have a question for
that
the
poor girl.
audience. I have a question for the audience. Was NASA even around in the 1950s? I think it wasn't until the 60s. Was it 50s or 60s?
Somebody
I'm
Google
thinking
this.
60s. Someone in the audience, Sarah's
Yeah.
here. Sarah, Google it for us, boo boo.
Oh, yeah.
Google it. Because my thing is this. You would think they would do better with that rocket. When I saw the rocket land, there was no separation, no module separation, no nothing. It was the entire rocket that landed exactly.
Well, we didn't go to the moon till the 60s, right? So we didn't have
Oh,
humans in space till the
1958.
60s.
Devin says 1958. Thank you, Devin.
That's when
Yeah.
NASA started.
Yep, NASA.
Okay.
Okay,
I
so
wanna
I'm
say
thinking
we
this
landed
was
on the moon
pre-NASA. I'm
In
thinking this might
68
be
or 69
pre-NASA.
Yeah, it was somewhere in the 60s.
This is 56.
Whenever.
was the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think that they knew enough about space exploration
No.
Oh no.
No,
because
definitely
they had no helmets on, they had no oxygen. They just
They didn't-
assumed
they
they were
didn't
going to
think about that.
land on this planet and breathe.
Yeah.
They did mention though that the atmosphere is very
Mhm.
similar to that on Earth. And it's like
yeah.
I love it.
how convenient.
I mean,
Although
yeah.
the one thing I looked up, apparently Jupiter does have a 13th moon, but we didn't know it existed until 1978,
Exactly.
which is awesome. It's kind of crazy that they were like they just picked a planet and a number and like ended up being legit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How
Science fiction.
how crazy
doubt
would
it.
it be if we go to the 13th planet and there's a whole bunch of fire maidens on there?
These poor women trapped in the 50s.
Just from Atlantis, yeah.
Yes.
Now, the first
Yes,
30
Atlantis.
minutes for me, it did take me 2 days, like Courtney.
Okay.
The first, and I did the same thing. It's weird. No, Courtney and I did not coordinate this, but I saw the first 30 minutes as well.
Mhm.
And I turned it off and sat there like this. I'm gonna go watch The Man in the High Castle now because that might elevate my brain cells. I don't know, because that was just the very misogynistic conversations they were having. To me, was funny, and I think that it was happening because it was an acceptable type of conversation in that time. Was it okay? No, but no one fought the patriarchy at that time. Let us remember that nobody really was paying attention to anything that was being said in a way that was, oh, they know boys will be boys, was the mentality, was all accepted. So when you watch movies from the 50s, you kind of have to expect a certain level of patriarchy kind of mentality. Patriarchy mentality.
Yes, I totally agree. However, there were like way too many of those comments. Do you guys remember
many
was going to the ice, like the ice thing, and then he was like, "Oh, that's like my wife or something," or like,
yes,
right?
I didn't understand that. I'm like,
yeah, I was just like, why is he got
divorced? It was probably still illegal back then.
Yes.
There was a few times.
I thought it was funny that they had all these women, right? And I was expecting a woman to be in charge. Well, but they had the one older guy in charge.
The one old guy, yeah. Well, I mean, you gotta realize, like, especially as a genre back then, like, who's going to see these movies in the movie theater? Young men. Like, it's sci-fi was not made for women for a very long time.
Sci-fi was not geared for women at that time. And that's something that even today we're still trying to break, I think. It's really, Navia and I can tell you how difficult it is to find a sci-fi movie to review that leads with women. It just is challenging.
Yeah. Well, but technically the person in charge was Aphrodite, the Roman goddess from Atlantis, remember?
Sure. A picture of Aphrodite.
Exactly.
Actually Aphrodite. No. Just a big painting of her.
Naked, by the way. Completely naked.
Yeah.
Like what's with the ritualistic sacrificing?
Oh, dear Lord.
Why is always let's sacrifice in fire a woman? Why couldn't they had these men there? Why not sacrifice them?
They were there. I think they were going to be next, but no.
Well, they needed something from the men.
It's Eve's original sin all over again.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was like, and when I finished it, I felt like the next day when I finished the movie, I felt like its ending was so unsatisfying because there was no real understanding of how they got there. And supposedly these are the people who escaped from Atlantis, the lost city of Atlantis, and they got there. But how did they get there? It was never really discussed. There was no space technology. I mean, how did you get there? Like, was it the gods? What gods? Let's talk to me about how you got there. And that was not discussed. And I think it was because they expected people to just be okay with it. There's a bunch of women dancing barefooted and we're good.
Yeah. There's a ton of plot holes in this movie. That was just like one of the big ones.
What is the creature? Why is the creature?
Yes.
Like, and the funny thing to me is looking at the poster, the creature's holding the woman.
Yeah. Yes.
Never happened. Like,
yes. Let's go back to that poster. Let's look at it. He's holding the female. That never happened.
He's huge. In the
poster. That never happens.
When I saw the poster, I thought this would be like King Kong, and I got really excited. I was like, "Oh my god, King Kong in space! How amazing, right?" But no,
but the creature was smaller than the other.
Yeah.
It was like some scrawny stagehand guy that they just like slapped like the cheapest creature from the Black Lagoon costume on, and they were like, "Okay, go hide in the bushes." Yeah. And then sometimes come out and be creepy. And then go hide again.
It was almost like, did you guys feel like this creature was not really a creature, but a person who was burned?
I thought it was gonna be like a
I thought
different
it was one of their
person. Like
men.
I thought it was gonna be like a Gollum type situation where he was
Yes.
like I was outcast by, you know,
Yeah.
I forget the older guy's name. You know,
Process or
I was
something?
outcast by Primus or Process or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There
I
are
thought
things that we have to eliminate from our brains when it comes to this movie. So
I
Navia,
couldn't
talk.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Navia. And then
I
once you finish, let's go to the
Okay.
comments afterwards.
I created a whole backstory for this monster. I thought the monster was an exiled daughter who didn't turn out as perfect as the other daughters.
Yes.
And Crassus
Not
and
pretty.
Aphrodite was like, no, we can't have you because everyone in our oasis is beautiful. And so they cast her aside, and she like didn't have enough food, and like she like basically ended up decaying. And then she was angry and wanted to get back in, and that's why she kept attacking the fire maidens.
I want the Creature Sisters origin story movie now. Thank you.
Yes. And Navia can write it.
Exactly.
I believe it. She's already got it all lined out.
And you, Courtney, will review it.
There we
Exactly.
go. There we go. Well, we need actress,
And we
so
will
you guys
be
can be
merciless.
actresses in it. You can be the
Oh,
fire
man.
maidens.
I volunteer to be a creature. Creature looked like it was having way more
I
fun.
want to dance.
I can't do the back bend required.
Oh my god!
That I swear they only
God.
hired Jacqueline Curtis because of that back bend.
Yes,
And that was
agreed.
Impressive,
and like
yeah.
3 or 4 times. But like
Yeah.
and then the weird classical music that they were dancing to, that it was just like, we're filling time here, guys. Like, what are we doing?
Like, was that ballet? Was that what?
Interpretive dance.
Interpretive. Like, I was like, these girls need some lessons. I don't know about these dances.
Right.
Because they weren't exactly, Orion slave sexy kind of either.
Right.
Dancing. It was very strange. I didn't understand the dancing, and it really annoys me to no end that they were barefoot at all times.
Yes. I mean,
what was that about in the woods?
That whole outfit, like,
you can't run in heels. Come on.
True.
But sandals, flip-flops, I don't know. It's grass and dirt and twigs on your feet.
Yeah.
And wasn't Atlantis supposed to be underwater? Like,
yes. But now let's go to the comments and see what people are saying. We've got some awesome people here tonight.
We have Jupiter 2 saying, hey guys, how are you? We're doing
good.
We're doing good. And then our friend Devin says, Star Trek, live long and prosper, Devin. Sarah's here saying, hey ladies, I'm traveling, so I might be in and out. That's okay, Sarah.
How dare you, Sarah?
You can watch the full episode later.
Yeah.
And Sarah says, do not recommend. Sarah, I feel like that's very harsh. I feel like the movie wasn't that bad.
Listen, I think that if you like a good B-rated movie, that you don't have to give it too much thought. And I think that was how people perceive science fiction then. That's the movie you're going to watch.
Even if you go into this movie with like zero expectation, it still fails.
It fails. It does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's just a nightmare from beginning to end.
I like Devin's
with no real
comment.
explanation.
Yeah. Devin has a really good theory on how they got there. Do you see that comment?
Yeah. That's gonna pull that up next. He says Stargate, which is possible. Because I think even in Stargate, it was Atlantis. Yeah. So in like the second series of Stargate, it revolves around Atlantis. So probably.
Very, very, very
like
good.
That theory.
That's true. That actually checks out.
Yeah. And then Jupiter 2 says they need to add extras. You don't need seat warmers, but it's nice to have on the rocket ship.
It's so true.
Right.
It's so true.
And then I like this comment from Sarah. This is a good point. She's referring to the creature. She says maybe it's a depiction of the devil, which
very true.
Makes sense.
It makes sense that time. I could see how people during that time would think that way.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the end of the comments. But you guys, if you guys are watching this episode right now, in the comment section later after the episode ends, let us know what you think of the movie. Give us your reviews because we love to hear it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, I think that I would love to hear from these young ladies, starting with Navia. Then we're gonna go to Courtney. What do you guys? How did you feel about the depiction of the behavior and how the women were behaving towards the men?
I mean, I think they were just a depiction of like a man's ideal of what women should be like. They should just be nice to look at, but they shouldn't say stuff because why should women have thoughts? They should just be dancing erotically, giving them wine whenever is needed, and also like a cure
Oh
for
my
a
gosh.
hangover.
Yes,
And then
you gotta
also,
have that.
yeah, and also women should just fall in love with any man like in the snap of a finger. Like there's no reason. If her dad tells her that she needs to fall in love with him, she needs to be absolutely in love and just follow every single direction that is given.
How about you, Courtney? Talk to me.
Oh my gosh. It kind of what with what Navia was saying, like it was funny to me that it was like, you're the oldest sister, therefore
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
giving you to the captain. And then like
Yeah.
everybody else was like, you're on your own. Like they don't get to pair up with the other crew members. Like he was, I'm trying to remember exactly the order of events, but like by the end of it, she was like, I'm gonna go to Earth with this random dude I met yesterday.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
everyone was just like, have fun. Like, okay. Like you're just gonna just get in a rocket ship and go to another planet with some dude. It's
Mhm.
fine. It's
The
probably
comment that
fine.
got me was the one that was made by one of the guys. He goes, "Don't worry, ladies, we'll be back."
Yeah.
Why would
Yeah.
we
Is that
worry?
a threat?
Oh, is that a threat?
You're the least
If
one
White
they
man said
want
that to me,
back.
I would
Yeah.
take it as a threat. I'm gonna be honest.
For
I
real, 911.
I
Come
don't
on
know,
now.
Nita, because all of them were lining up to go after him. I don't know if he's the least wanted. Like he
I
had like
think that
7 women.
I didn't understand that because the captain, Hari Patati, yes.
Okay.
You're into Blair?
Looking at the 1950s kind of guy, I could be with the captain, right? Even the
Okay.
medical officer, he was good looking, but that fool looked like no. Like he had to try extra hard to harass you for you to go out on a date with him because that just he gives off that harassing kind of vibe. I did not like him at all.
Nita, I'm so glad
was
you're
in a-
not a fire maiden because I would be so worried you'd be running off with random men because you thought they were
She'd be
cute.
gone.
I
Girl,
would
He'd
be
be
girl.
poisoning her dad, and she'd be out of there.
Oh, I would have poisoned
Yeah.
that fool. Lord. He would have not even been there when the men arrived.
I like how also like so she switches the drinks, right? Classic. And then her dad drinks it and then he
Yeah.
passes out. And then like there's a cutscene later of him like walking from one room to another or something.
I didn't understand
And then
that.
later on they were just like, he's dead. And you're
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah.
He died? Like last time we saw him, he was just I thought he was just
Oh,
sleeping.
okay, ladies, you guys have to explain something to me. Remember the wall that was around where they lived, and
Uh-huh.
then when the guys that the captain said, "You guys go back to the spaceship."
Right.
They were trying to go over the
Right.
the wall, and they would put the tree and it lit in fire. What was happening? They never explained why things were burning up in
Oh
flames.
no, they totally
don't
said there
understand
must
that.
be electricity.
Yeah.
Electricity?
Like-
You went out of space.
It's fine. Yeah.
Well,
Con
don't worry about
Edison is up there. What's
yeah, don't
happening?
worry about it, Nita. You're thinking
Yeah,
too
exactly.
much.
I am thinking too much.
That's
Be like the fire maidens.
I'm firing. I'm gonna stop
Yeah.
thinking now.
yeah. It's overrated. Just let the men do that.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, I love the captain. That was, I
Yeah.
have a wife at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, he still brought someone back with him.
Yes! Yes!
What's happening?
I'm gonna explain again. I want that movie
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
he just walks in with
Yeah. One of
Oh
the
my gosh.
girls. But
and then poor
Mhm.
Susan Shaw, is that her name?
I think so.
I'm
The
not
gal
sure.
that played my IMDb is low. The gal that played Hestia.
Yes, Susan
her
Shaw.
like
By
her
the way.
personal life. Oh my gosh. Like I had no idea. Yeah.
Did she have a rough life?
So she was married and then divorced, and then she
Uh-huh.
married an American actor, and like I think it was like 5 or 6 years later, he got in a car wreck and passed away,
Oh, jeez.
and she was 29 years old, and she literally drank
What?
herself to death over the next 20 years. She passed
Oh my
away in like
gosh.
1978, I think.
That's so.
Um, yeah, I was just like, and she was so beautiful, and I was just thinking
Yeah.
about that. I was just like, I would be so mad if like that was the height of my acting career. Like, she was an
Fire
actress
Yeah,
and
out
she
his
married an
face.
actor, and then I'm just like, I was
You know
like,
what's sad though about these movies and how they portray the female characters? They don't
Right.
allow the actor, the actress, to really flourish that character, to really develop it, and you don't really get to see the level of skills because
Mhm.
it takes a lot of skill as as a person to dumb yourself down. Have you
Well,
ever seen like a TV show and there's like a character and he's like a really silly character, a really dumb character, but the actor themselves, if you look at them up, they have like all this education. It takes a lot of skill to come down, and I think that it must have been very challenging for these women.
I
It's just
I
Probably.
I feel like given the character, she did all she could. Like,
yes,
Yeah.
she
yeah.
did. But
There
that's
was
my
not a lot to
point. There
work with
wasn't
there.
there
No.
wasn't a lot to work with. They didn't give
No.
them that opportunity. Even the men's character in this movie, which was interesting. Usually the male characters tend to flourish in sci-fi. They were pretty much
They were kind of stumbling around.
basic.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was no character development.
I feel
The
like
Earth
this
is not
movie
sending
was
their best men.
I mean, we saw the title Fire Maidens and
Yeah.
outer space. I was like, ooh, girl power. Yeah. No,
Where was the
nothing.
fire? I
Well,
thought these women were going to be like born out of fire, or like
Yeah.
Yes.
fire, or like
something.
made of fire. Nope. There was like
No.
some torches on the wall in the room.
yeah.
Like Jupiter's very cold. I don't know where the fire's coming. Like there was
But this is a moon, remember. It might
A
be
moon
less
of
cold.
Jupiter.
Yes.
There's still not enough
I
fire.
don't know. That moon looked like a planet to me.
That moon looked like Redding, California.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
no, actually, I think
Yes.
it was shot at MGM in the UK. To be honest,
Oh, okay.
which is funny because like literally 10 years later they were filming Stanley Kubrick stuff. You want to talk about
Oh,
great
wow.
sci-fi movies? Like that's how close in time those movies are, though.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one
It's-
probably had a
it's
much bigger
amazing.
budget, right? I feel like
Yeah.
this
It had a
movie was
budget.
written. This
This had a
Had a
$10
budget.
budget.
this is a $10 budget.
There was no music written for this movie.
No,
It was
oh my
all
God,
canned
yeah.
stuff. There was the sets were all reused, like Roman and Greek, like
Yeah, it's just all
you
mixed
know,
up.
it was all leftovers. It was
It's
like
absolutely true. I always try when I make our announcements announcing our shows, if we're doing a movie review, I try to find the music that is playing, right? You
mhm.
can't find anything for Fire
There isn't
Maidens.
anything.
Because there isn't
Yeah.
anything.
I feel
Yeah,
like this movie was probably written on a bet. Someone was like, "Hey, George, I bet you can't write a movie," and George was like, "Heck yeah, I can." And George wrote a movie, and he was like,
Yeah.
"It's made. I write a movie." Like,
I would love to know what they paid these actors. Because honestly, they must have been super starving to take
Oh
this
my
movie
gosh.
on. The
Yeah.
minute you
So-
read that script, it has to be painful.
Cy Roth, the director and writer,
oh,
did 4 movies.
okay.
Fire Maidens of Outer Space, Airstrike a year before,
Okay.
Dragnet in 1947, and then
Okay, I
Outlaw
remember
Queen
Dragnet.
in 1957. And
Any
it
of
looks
them
like he did some.
successful?
They don't tell me that.
explains it.
I will say his Dragnet movie
Those are
from
good.
47 has a 6.6 star rating.
Okay.
Dragnet was a good movie. Dragnet was a good movie, and when they remade it, it was good. You guys are young. You guys don't remember Dragnet, but Dragnet was back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Dragnet was it. So,
And
but
he did,
you know, he
okay.
redeemed himself with
TV
Yeah.
with
shows,
Dragnet. He redeemed himself with Dragnet for sure. I would have never guessed that this movie was in any way affiliated with any writers that wrote
Well, I mean,
about
this is the
Dragnet.
1947 movie Dragnet.
It's still, you know, it's still Dragnet. It's still, it's
Right.
you know, it's Dragnet, girl. Don't mess with Dragnet.
Okay. So I have a question.
Yes.
What do you guys think happened to the men of Atlantis?
Yeah. Why only one guy survived? What's up with that?
And only
Who wants-
daughters.
Who wants to fill in that
Only
plot
daughters.
point?
I don't understand that one at all. See, that's what took most of my brain cells, and the recovery has been difficult.
The 4 that were left.
The fourth
Oh
one
my
left.
gosh.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we are
my
going to
gosh.
go now. Now Navi is back. We're going to put her to work.
Right.
And we are going to talk about something that's going to make our brains much better. Take it away.
Okay, since I subjected you guys to this terrible movie and you all lost a whole bunch of brain cells, I'm going to attempt to give you some brain cells. So today we're going to be talking about Sarah Seeger. Sarah is a Canadian American astronomer, and she's actually founded some exoplanets. Exoplanets are planets that are what are exoplanets? They're like in outer space, and we haven't. They're just beyond our solar system. That's what exoplanets are.
So we can't actually see them yet, or get any info on them.
We can see them a little, but like we don't have like images, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So Dr. Siegel was born in Canada, and a career in science is nothing new to her family because her dad is actually a pioneer in one of the world's largest hair transplant technologies, and he founded the Seeger Hair Transplant Center in Toronto. And her interest in space started thanks to her dad, who would take her out with a telescope and look at the moon. But she almost didn't end up going into the sciences because despite her dad's success in science, he was like, you know what? Not for you. You're not going to be a scientist. I want you to become a doctor or a lawyer. But thankfully, she was like, no, Dad, I'm going to do whatever I want. So after high school, she entered the University of Toronto with the intention of studying physics because she had this idealistic view that anything and everything could be described by a physics question. But she soon learned that this isn't actually reality, and approximations are not only rampant but necessary. And this realization motivated her to eventually pursue her first love, which was astronomy. So after graduating Toronto University with the math and physics specialist program, she ended up going to get her PhD in astronomy at Harvard. And it was at Harvard in the mid-90s where she learned about exoplanets. And like I said, the exoplanets are just planets that are beyond our solar system. Most orbit other stars, but free-floating exoplanets have been seen. They're called rogue planets, and they orbit the galactic center and are untethered by two stars. Seeger started studying the atmosphere of these so-called exoplanets. At this time, many scientists were actually skeptical of these new planets, and they kind of just told her this is a phenomenon, they aren't real, move on. Others thought that the claims Seeger made in her thesis would never be substantiated, but exoplanets kept turning up, and eventually her work was validated. After earning a PhD from Harvard in 1999, Professor Siegel joined a postdoctorate degree at the Institute of Advanced Studies in New Jersey, where she continued to study exoplanets. So this is something she's really famous for, and her work has been recognized all over the world. Professor Siegel's research now focuses on theoretical models of the atmosphere and the interiors of all kinds of exoplanets, as well as novel space missions. Her research has introduced many new ideas to find and characterize exoplanets. She's part of a team that co-discovered the first direction of light emitting light being emitted from exoplanets and the first spectrum of exoplanet. The exceedingly surprising diversity of these exoplanets have led to Seeger's maxim: for exoplanets, anything is possible under the law of physics and chemistry. She's also created an equation, which is like the Drake's equation. And this is to help find exoplanets as well. Again, that's where her research has mostly been in. In 2020, Seeger led a team proposing a mission to Venus Life Finder, a small spacecraft to investigate the possibility of life in the atmosphere of Venus. The mission will be privately funded and will be launched in late January 2025, if possible. She's also written many works. Her latest book is a memoir called The Smallest Light in the Universe. And that's a little bit about Sarah Seeger.
Nice.
And this is her memoir, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Which looks
so
very
yeah,
good.
definitely. I mean, here she is with the globe, but definitely check out her book. You know, you probably can get it on Amazon or on Google Books or wherever books, probably even in the library. I think it's a fantastic book to learn about the universe
and gain some brain cells.
Yes, gain some. This woman is amazing. She's also a professor in MIT.
Mm-hmm.
It's very impressive. Very
Yeah.
impressive. The background is amazing. Here's a woman contributing to our science society.
Mm-hmm.
And, definitely nothing like a fire maiden.
No, thank God.
She is a queen right there.
Yes.
Here. She is. She's an amazing scientist. I'm actually going to look for her book because
Yeah.
her background definitely seems interesting to me. You know? But we also have Annie's not with us tonight, but I do have a book recommendation. So as you guys know, I love trilogies. I love books that when you read the first book, it keeps you wanting more.
Mm-hmm.
As a trilogy, I'm probably going to read it, right? And this is an amazing trilogy. This is the first book. It's Star Trek Voyager's String Theory.
Ooh.
This is a fantastic book. It actually kind of comes, if you remember watching Star Trek Voyager, Twist, when when Voyager was starting to enter this chaotic part of space, and it was twisting around, and they were all going kind of in circles, and the captain came in contact with it and became incoherent. And when they finally got out of that chaotic space, there was a ton of downloaded information into their system, and a lot of information was extracted, but no other episode about what happened or who these people are or do they exist, what was the purpose. Nothing was really followed up until these books. So here you start with B'Elanna, and it really focuses mostly on B'Elanna and Seven of Nine, and then on book 2, the String Theory Fusion. You know you got to have the Vulcan up in
Yes,
here.
you do.
Because you can't talk about string theory and not bring in some logic, right? And it really continues the storyline very nicely. They really merge everything in such a way that it gives you so much great information, because at this point they're really back in the Alpha Quadrant, and they find a way of traveling back to the Delta Quadrant to visit this part of space that shouldn't exist, that shouldn't happen. And they kind of put it all together. And then you have the final one, Evolution. Who better than the Doctor? Who better, right? What a character that has evolved throughout Voyager in such an amazing way. So I definitely recommend Star Trek Voyager String Theory. And it is a book that I do recommend you read it in cohesion, book one, book two, book three. Some books, when you read trilogies, you don't necessarily have to, but these books do kind of follow each other. So it is important to kind of get the full grasp of the storyline in these books. They're
very
a
cool.
fantastic trilogy. Um, the first one, I actually have it on my Google Books. The other two, I actually have a hard copy of a paperback copy of it. Because I actually found it when my sister lived in Texas, and we went to. If I go on vacation, I always try to find a thrift shop, or a bookstore that sells used books, because they're so fantastic.
Right.
New York City has them, but not as great as the South. You just
Mhm.
can't. Just don't beat the South when it comes to thrift shops and used book places. And so I actually found it there, but you can get them on Amazon. You can get them on Google Books. They are fantastic books. And if you guys have a book recommendation after the show, because if you put it in now, once the show ends, we lose that information. But if you can go back to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/sci-fi queens, and go and put a comment in and let us know what books you would like us to review, what science fiction book you would like us to review. That would be fantastic. We will take a look at it. If you have a real female scientist that you would like Navia to consider, also put it in there so that we can review that as well.
Yeah. And tell us what you thought about the movie. I'm so interested in
Yes.
hearing your thoughts.
Absolutely, yes. We absolutely want to know
Yes.
what you guys think of the movie, and whether or not Navia. Here's a question:
Oh
Should
no!
Navia stop recommending movies?
Wait. What did you think of Paper Girls? Because that was also a recommendation for me.
Paper Girls was the
Okay.
bomb.
Okay.
That was a comic, though. That was a comic book, not a movie.
Okay, but that was still a recommendation from me. So I think slight redemption.
It's a slight redemption. Come up with a good sci-fi movie and you will be fully redeemed. Okay.
Just one.
Yeah.
We just need one.
But yeah, I mean, and Courtney, I put this out to you. If you have a book recommendation that you ever want to come on and share with us, just let me
Yes.
know ahead of time. Send me a picture so I can put it up. And yeah,
Sure.
you could be part of the Sci-Fi Queen book recommendation. Absolutely. Sarah says she loved Paper Girls. Of course she did. If you haven't seen our episode of sci-fi and comic books, take a look at that. Sarah and I reviewed it. And what I love about reviewing that with Sarah was because she gave a mom's perspective on this comic. It was really important. Once you read the comic,
I
you'll
love
see.
that.
Yeah, because comics are geared for kids, right?
Mhm.
So having a mom's perspective was really important.
Courtney, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Some of them are definitely not for kids.
No, they're
Some
not.
are. Some are not.
Yep.
No.
Some of my
some
favorite
are.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we are going to be doing some recommendations, most definitely. I want to thank Courtney for joining us tonight, for enduring the movie and sharing her thoughts with it. Navia, welcome home. We missed you so much. Who missed Navia? Everyone missed
Everyone
Navia.
missed me.
Yes.
But wait, where can we follow Courtney? Do you have social media? Now
I
that
don't
we're
have a lot of
friends,
it, right? I don't have a lot of it, but I'll Nita's got some of mine, so
Okay,
yeah.
perfect.
And I just wanted to say that we got a comment here by Big Nasty Kale. Thank you. I need brain cells. Yes, I'm
Yes.
glad Navia was able to refresh your brain cells. Thank you for joining us. And before we go, I do want to just kind of highlight a couple of other podcasts. Buddies of ours. We have here Pop Culture Spread. They're on every Friday night at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time, and they give you the pop culture news Australian style. Those two guys are the funniest. They're the best. Jace actually does all our thumbnails and background, he is amazing. To the Sci-Fi Queens, he is an honorary Sci-Fi Queen.
But yeah, they're not as funny as us. Like, we
Oh
like
no,
have
no
great
one is
fear.
as funny as us. Absolutely not. You heard that, guys. Not I
Right.
didn't say that it was Navia. But you could also find Jace and
Ooh.
Jason on the Jason Roy Gaston channel on YouTube, where they have a few shows together. They have the VHS Vault, which I absolutely love. They review 80s movies, 80s classic movies.
Ooh.
And some of the movies they have seen as a young person and now as an
Oh.
older adult, and they realize, whoa, how misogynistic was this? And they talk about it openly and how their viewpoint of the movie has changed. These guys are total modern guys. I love them. They also have If You Disagree, You're Wrong. That's the name of their podcast, where they review different shows and give their opinions. They are fun guys, great show. And then we have
Ooh.
Jason and Joe on the Captain's Quadrant every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. They talk about the latest Star Trek episodes out there right now. It's Lower Decks. And that's fantastic. Take a look at them. These guys, they're our buddies. And our next show, we'll be reviewing the book Flatland on November 3rd at
Oh,
8
geez.
p.m. Eastern Time. It is
I
a
gotta
great
read
This
that.
book.
in college.
You can find it in the library. You can find it on Google Books, and on Amazon. It's a fantastic story. Basically, the premise of the story is that everyone is a shape, and depending on your shape is how important you are in the hierarchy.
Wow.
And we're gonna see how the female characters here, how do they resemble our society? Because it was a book written about the inequalities of society. But we're going to see about the inequality of women in society then, now, and hopefully how things could change in the future. So that's November 3rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I want to thank you guys for being with us today. I apologize. The internet was my neighborhood lost the connection. We had a little bit of a storm here.
No.
So I do apologize for the sudden change, but I thank you guys for being here with us. And let us know if this time slot suits you in the comments once we're off air so that we can see that as well. Okay? Yes. Any last words from our lovely ladies?
Yeah, again, I'm so sorry, you guys. I don't know why I'm allowed to make decisions. Obviously, I shouldn't be able to. So, sorry.
We gotta find you a nice space captain to make
Yes,
the
you
decision
need a
for
nice
you.
space captain.
Oh no, I'm the
Okay.
fire maiden. Oh god, this makes sense. That's
You know what? Actually, you're the one tied up being sacrificed.
Hesta, the
I
main
think that's
character.
where we're going with this one.
Well, maybe a nice man will come rescue you.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes.
One can
Good
only
God.
hope.
Apparently, that's from
Maybe
you know
a nice
creatures
burnt
and your
up
dad.
creature.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
dear Lord.
Okay, ladies, thank you so much. We see you November 3rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Bye.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our new channel so that you can get notified when new videos come up. Thank you for watching our show.